So guys, I've been researching a new video. It's going to be about early access RTS, and I was taking a look at Stormgate and kind of where it went wrong, and I saw this video. I saw the beginning part of this video. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I think it's really, really well researched, and it gives us a lot of very interesting information, so I wanted to watch it with you guys. Check it out.
In early 2024, Frost Giant, an independent studio, raised more than $2 million on Kickstarter for its upcoming real-time strategy game, Stormgate. Fast forward to 2025, and Tim Morton, the studio's CEO, announced that the company is not getting the sales that they had hoped for, and several employees are already looking for their next gig. How do you go from next-gen RTS hype to searching for a lifeline in 2 years? Short answer: over-promising, under-delivering, and burning time on resets. But to get the full story, we have to go quite a few years back. Okay, maybe not quite that far back. To understand Stormgate's hype, you have to understand
So somebody in chat asked what was my opinion on Stormgate. You haven't seen it. I did make a video back during the early access of Stormgate, and I put out some opinions about like how the graphical style wasn't really to my taste. Like, it seemed very cartoony, and the sound design I didn't think was very good. Also, the way that the graphics kind of looked in combat made it really hard to see what was going on, and I just kind of laid out some of those initial problems. I don't really think that a lot of them have been fixed from what I've seen now in 2025, and I think it's pretty clear kind of why the game failed in a lot of ways, not really making those necessary changes. But this video goes a lot deeper than that. He talks about a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, which I think is really interesting, so let's check it.
StarCraft 2. It was the long-awaited sequel to one of the most influential RTS games ever,
this is just some background.
And its competitive scene helped Twitch take off and made esports mainstream outside of Korea. However, in October of 2020, Activision Blizzard put StarCraft 2 into maintenance mode. The StarCraft 2 community was smaller than its peak, but there still was a tight-knit group of fans. Sensing an opportunity, Tim Morton, who had just left Blizzard, and Tim Campbell, who had departed much earlier in 2004, founded Frost Giant Studios later that year. Their pitch? Build a modern RTS in the spirit of Blizzard's classics. And by 2022, they had raised $35 million from venture capital. Early messaging by Frost Giant described the game as the first truly social RTS, with co-op modes, integrated esports, and competitive multiplayer with team battles. Literally every part of the game is meant to provide a more social experience, Morton famously said in an interview
because
in 2022.
Strategy game players are
Tim Morton also
so well
wasn't
known
shy
as
talking
social
about
players.
his prior experience building StarCraft 2. However, in actuality, he joined Blizzard in 2014, 4 years after StarCraft 2 was...
See, now this I didn't even know. I didn't even know this. Listen to that again. Let's just go back.
Blizzard in 2014.
He said, Tim Morton said that he had experience building StarCraft 2. But he joined in 2014. I mean, he joined just for Legacy of the Void. Like, what is it with Blizzard employees and taking credit for other lying on their resume? This is like we got a pirate software situation here, guys. Like, what the hell?
4 years after StarCraft 2 was originally released. He was production lead for the final expansion pack and some of the smaller content DLCs thereafter, but holding up StarCraft 2 as his prior game during Kickstarter pitches and investor decks was definitely...
Like, what is this? What is it up? What's up with Blizzard employees? Seriously. This is pirate software all over
only
again.
a stretch.
Another new game announcement. We're going to announce a brand new game and universe
He
from a new
takes
team of
a
legendary
game that's already
developers.
finished.
Check this out.
StarCraft 2. He helps with the
Stormgate's
expansion.
first
He's like,
big public showing came at Summer Game Fest 2022 with a cinematic
I was a developer
trailer.
for StarCraft 2.
In the trailer,
What?
a female protagonist is researching some ancient artifacts
I saw
when
this.
she
This was
suddenly gets
terrible.
overrun by a horde of Zerg. I mean demons.
Like this did not make me
Also
hype.
joined by Frost Giants president and game director Tim Campbell here to tell us exactly how Stormgate will delight
Day
all
nine.
minds, artificial or otherwise.
Then came PC Gaming Show 2023, where Frost Giant revealed
Big
the
love for
first
Day 9,
in-game
but-
footage. It looked a little rough, but most viewers gave it a pass since it was pre-alpha footage.
Everyone was so
Though
hopeful for
the
this
bright,
game.
cartoonish visuals drew some side eyes for looking a bit too Fortnite and not enough StarCraft.
Yeah, this is my big original. The thing that I saw immediately was like, why does everything look like Overwatch? You know, it looks so cartoonish. And like, look at this freeze frame. What is even happening on the left side? What is, like, can you even see the difference between the units here on the left side? Like, what am I even looking at? Like, what is this right here in the middle? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different visual, like, things that look too similar. Do you know what I mean? I can't really see what's even happening in here.
What
And
you've seen today is just the tip of the
that's just
iceberg.
the
We have
beginning of the
so
game.
much more in store. We're going to be revealing a bunch of stuff about Stormgate the rest of
That's
this
not
year.
even when things
We're
have, like,
introducing
buffs
new
and
modes.
stuff.
We have a 3-player versus AI cooperative mode. We have team-based competitive modes.
Day
We're
9 is
sharing
really
information
aged.
about our storyline
Holy.
and campaign.
I mean, well, we're all getting old, but
By December 2023,
remember watching
expectations
them
and
way
hype
back in the day.
reached a peak. Frost Giant took the stage at the Game Awards with a new cinematic, which was later revealed to have cost $650,000. The
oh
response...
my god, $650,000 for what, man? Yeah,
Giant took
Steve
the
Jobs
stage at the
costume.
Game Awards with a new
That's so
cinematic,
true.
which was later revealed
What is this? What is this barbarian from Diablo 2 doing in my StarCraft game? What the hell?
to have cost
$650,000. Oh my gosh, none of those cinematics were worth that. Oh my god. Why are we spending AAA budget on video or on cinematics for a video game that's made by a
$50,000.
indie
The
team? This
response,
makes no sense.
lukewarm at best. Criticism
You know what? I've noticed all these indie games that have done really well recently. They've all had these amazing, $500,000 cinematics that have come out about them. You know, like Megabonk. Yeah, you remember their cinematic?
around the art style being Overwatchy,
Balatro.
mobile gamey, and lacking grit was getting louder.
Glad they spent. They spent
Our
like
vision is to make
they spent like 100 times more money on a cinematic than a lot of those indie games spent on their entire development. It's
the
insane.
most fun RTS of all time. And to us, that means a lot of different things. First, it starts with core gameplay. We're opening up the RTS experience to new players through new modes, new ways of play. Whether you like story, or you enjoy cooperative experiences, or you want to get right into ladder and play hardcore competitive, we have content for you in Stormgate.
December 2023 also marked the launch of Frost Giant's Kickstarter campaign. Stormgate is fully funded to release. The message was clear, this money wasn't to finish the game, it was for stretch goals, collector editions, and beta access. The core funding, they claimed, was secured. However, later Frostgiant clarified fully funded to release actually meant fully funded to early access, not to 1.0, not to the polished RTS they had been describing. That subtle change in definition was the first major credibility crack. The campaign absolutely crushed
people
it
don't like
and
that.
hit $100,000 in just 15 minutes and ended at $2.4
be very
million.
clear.
But
this type
that
of
still
thing.
wasn't enough. Venture capital.
This is the saddest thing, I think. No, in AAA budgets, that's not that much. Yeah, I'm talking about just one cinematic, though. $650,000 for one cinematic. That's a lot. That's a lot. God of War has a lot of cinematics in it. You know, and I'm sure not each one doesn't cost $500,000, right? We're talking one cinematic. One. Their 4K E3 announcement cinematic cost $650,000 to make. It's pretty insane. Here, Frostgiant earned over $2 million off of 28,000 backers on Kickstarter. Think about those 28,000 people who are like huge RTS fans who really wanted to see a good RTS. How sad is that they just got burned? And like, what are the chances that they're going to invest in another like Kickstarter RTS in the future? Like, that bridge has been burned for 28,000 people, I think.
For games had dried up,
That's super
and
sad.
so Frostgiant turned to yet another crowdfunding platform, Start Engine.
Really?
This time, fans could buy actual shares in the studio, which Frostgiant declared to be worth $150 million at that point. The investor deck they presented was optimistic to the point of absurd. For example, they told investors Stormgate would capture 50% of StarCraft 2's launch numbers because many of our team members worked on StarCraft 2. They called Wings of Liberty our prior product. Again, Morton wasn't even at Blizzard.
We ran multiple revenue projection scenarios for 12 months post early access launch. The valuation is based on the historical performance of our prior product, StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty. What? Is this not illegal? Like, isn't this false advertising or misleading at the bare minimum? Like that is way worse than I even thought. That is way worse than anything I've heard previously. This is really bad. That's bad. Oh, man. Since our product most closely resembles StarCraft 2 and many team members at Frostgiant worked on StarCraft 2, we believe 50% performance is a reasonable effort. 50% of StarCraft 2, they're expecting 50%, half. That is nuts. It's, based on known platform fees, built engineering infrastructure, self-projection. Variable to monthly active users, we projected 12 months of operating expenses based on our fully staffed headcount. I'm curious what their expenses off of the fully based on fully staffed headcount, because I know this was made in Los Angeles by a full software development team, so I'm sure it was a lot.
Blizzard when Wings of Liberty released. Even stranger, they justified revenue projections by citing mobile strategy titles. Clash of Clans, Rise of Kingdoms, State of Survival. Those audiences have nothing to do with PC RTS. It was a best-case fantasy scenario dressed up as market analysis.
That's crazy.
The filings also revealed the financial reality.
Clash of Clans.
Frostgiant had burned through over $23 million, had about $6 million left, and auditors openly questioned whether they could continue as a going concern. Translation: unless something massively changed, they were running out of money fast. What makes this worse is where the money was going. Frostgiant proudly announced that they had hired a real archaeologist to advise the lore. They also brought on a senior VP of licensing and IP expansion whose mandate was to explore figurines, films, and merchandising. This was long before they had a finished campaign, but the leadership seemed more focused on making Stormgate into a franchise than finishing the actual game.
These guys are
August
delusional.
2024,
What the heck?
Stormgate hit early access on Steam. Frostgiant had spent heavily on sponsored streamers and Twitch drops to drive interest. They got the eyeballs, but what players and viewers got was a half-finished game. Multiplayer was bare bones, and the campaign was stiff, awkwardly written, and littered with placeholder art. The reception was brutal. Steam reviews set it mixed, and content creators didn't seem impressed by the state of the campaign or the game in general either.
Nope.
Yeah, like overall, I would rate the game. I would rate Stormgate pretty low. I'd probably give it like a 1 or a 2 out of 10. It is
that's brutal.
very, very, very unfinished from campaign to co-op to just literally the factions that you play in one-on-one.
Frostgiant admitted later that the campaign was so bad it had to be rebuilt from the ground up. That meant chunking months of.
Yeah, that's true. Campaign sells the RTS. But the pro scene or like the competitive scene drives the interest for sure. Like it gets people's eyes, and then people end up buying it to play the campaign. Most people never play competitive, but they want to check out the game if they see some some interest, some fun competitive matches. But look at this, they have to restart the campaign completely. I mean, that's gotta hurt. You've got these people like Day9 who are like, they want a good RTS. They're like so sold on it. They make their money from these types of games, right? Players like Day9, Tasteless, Artosis. I'm sure that Tasteless and Artosis didn't rate it at a 1 or a 2, but like Day9 giving his 100% honest opinion is brutal, man. 1 or 2 is nuts.
Work, including around half an hour of cinematics.
That's bad.
And wasting
a lot of
millions
people
in development time. They didn't
take
simply
that to heart.
iterate here, they started over. The early access release felt rushed and incomplete, and from the 2024 financial filings, we later learned why that was the case. Frostgiant drew down a $2 million loan from Silicon Valley Bank, and by releasing early access when they did, they were able to delay
9%.
having to pay it back.
Wait.
As the negative Steam reviews, they were able.
Period was extended to, okay. Greater of 0.5% above prime rate or 9%. So it's 9% minimum. Damn.
Able to delay having to pay it back. As the negative Steam reviews kept pouring in, Tim Morton had a creative idea to turn the ship around. He, alongside several other key employees, wrote positive Steam reviews and got busted in the process.
No.
Gerald,
don't do that.
Frostgiant's communications director, explained that these were just a few employees independently reviewing the game and that there was no call from leadership to do so.
Oh my god. We have close to 50 employees working on Stormgate these days. There was no call for the team to review the game from our leadership. A few team members messed up and left reviews. And yes, that includes our CEO. But no, guys. No call from leadership. Just the CEO leaving reviews on his own product. Oh my god.
Despite the CEO also being involved in it. Then on Reddit, a user account called Tim Morton posted a glowing comment praising the campaign.
No. What did he log in? Wrong login? He was supposed to go on his burner account?
When called out, the several years old account was quickly deleted.
Oh
Most likely
my
explanation,
God.
Tim thought he was signed into a different account. And some extremely positive voices, of course, got immediately
What the hell? What do you think StarCraft 2 would cost to make today? Do you have any? Oh, is this like his? These are other accounts that he's like crediting to? Oh, he went to a different account. Void Legacy. Studio GMs at any big publisher make at least 2 times the salary listed. If you think people in SoCal with 25 years of industry experience who are leading studios get less than this amount, you do not know the industry.
And some
I turned down an offer for almost 2 times my salary at Frost Giant when I started the company.
Extremely positive voice.
And put my life savings in to keep the staff paid. Yikes.
This, of course, got immediately suspected of
wasted money. Oh my gosh. It's easy to throw stones, but I'm confident that StarCraft would cost well in excess of $100 million to build, and he said exactly the same thing on his Twitter account. All right, that's pretty suspicious. Bro, that's pretty suspicious. You can't even hire like an Indian call center or something to review your own game. Like, come on, this is not that expensive. Twitch streamers can figure this stuff out, okay? Like, you can bot your own. You can figure out how to bot your own Steam comments, right? You can get Steam reviews without having your own CEO writing Steam reviews. That's crazy. But I think this is probably him, honestly. Like, who's defending? He's sitting here defending on Reddit on a separate account, saying exactly the same stuff that he said on Twitter. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Under Tim's control. But now we're venturing into conspiracy territory, so let's move on. In any case, the distrust in Frost Giant and its leadership grew day by day. And speaking of distrust, Stormgate's Steam page briefly carried an ad for a third-party software that supposedly could help you improve your ping in Stormgate and other games. This violated Steam guidelines, but it's also just a really bad look to advertise some questionable game booster software, especially when your game is supposed to be able to run smoothly irregardless of ping thanks to its rollback technology. Gerald promised a blog post explaining it all in detail, but we're still waiting.
How many promises are they making with this game? Like, they're coming up with so many different things. Rollback technology? What the heck? Dude, so many promises with Stormgate, and like such a delusionally like wide vision for the game. It's crazy.
For that to this day.
This is
Frost Giant with Tim Morton leading the charge burned all the community goodwill with questionable actions such as these.
Booster.
In July 2025, Frost Giant announced that Stormgate was leaving early access. Initially this was advertised as version 0.6, but when the community pointed out how confusing it would be to launch with anything other than 1.0, Frost Giant backpedaled and dropped version numbers completely in favor of opaque codenames. The reality was pretty clear. The game was still incomplete.
So
the only thing they considered done was the rework campaign and 1v1. Out of the promised team modes, only co-op existed, but even that had been frozen with earlier versions of now reworked units.
Time travel.
The editor wasn't finished either. Social features, the main selling point, simply didn't exist at all. The first truly social RTS was a 1v1 ladder and a half-baked campaign.
The first truly social RTS, guys. Whatever the fuck that means. Jesus. So many buzzwords, dude. So many buzzwords. Non-stop buzzwords. Over-promising. And just almost just straight up lying. Like, our past IP product, StarCraft 2, what are you even talking about? StarCraft Wings of Liberty? Like, you weren't even at the company, man. You weren't even at the company. That's crazy.
And speaking of the campaign, the already short campaign was for some reason split into 3 separate DLCs, each containing just 3 missions and priced at $10. On the Steam page, they then advertised 3 bundles, Basic for $25, Deluxe for $40, and Ultimate for $64. Where this gets confusing is that neither the $25 Basic nor the $40 Deluxe bundle actually contained all 3 campaign DLCs. Only the $64 Ultimate bundle contained the entire campaign. To get the DLCs at the advertised price of $10 per 3 missions, you had to buy them through the in-game store that was only visible after starting the game.
I haven't even
Yet
seen
another
this,
unforced error that made this launch confusing. Steam reviews still hovered in the 50 to 55% positive range, and content creators reviewing the campaign echoed that sentiment strongly.
It's so bad, man. It's so bad. They got the feedback. They've known from Heart of the Swarm.
Oh.
They have known for 12 years that having a giant laser beam solve your problems in RTS is not what people want.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. No.
Stormgate's campaign launched with audio bugs, gameplay bugs, mislabeled achievements, boring and unoriginal dialogue and storytelling, missions so easy that you barely had to play to beat them, even on the hardest difficulty, and just one of the most disappointing endings that I've played in a video game ever.
Only IGN.
I wonder what that ending is, guys. I'm never gonna play this game, but I'm curious. What is the most disappointing ending ever for an RTS game or for a video game in general? That's got to be bad. 8? Of course, IGN. Wait, I just saw this. 8 out of 10 on IGN. Lena Haffer. Oh, I'm sure she's a real RTS veteran.
Again, for reasons that remain questionable,
What the hell,
gave the game an 8 out of 10. Morton seized on that immediately, insisting, "We delivered an 8 out of 10 rated game with the content we..."
Please help me understand how I scam my Kickstarter backers. We delivered an 8 out of 10 game.
We promised.
Whether you like story or you enjoy cooperative experiences or you want to get right into ladder and play hardcore competitive, we have content for you in Stormgate.
We have content for you in Stormgate.
In actuality, I don't think anyone was
finish
happy
any of
with the
that.
state Stormgate was released in, and once again the financial reality was coming crushing down on Tim Morton and his team.
Wow, he's even got the balance sheet? Bro. Shout out to this guy. This is a great video, guys. Yeah, the balance sheet even up here. 2024. $7 million. Cash and cash equivalents? This is assets? How did they get $7 million in assets? Accounts receivable, none. Property and equipment. Right of use. Other assets. This doesn't really give me a lot of information. Where's the
financial
cash
filing
coming
showed
from?
that at the end of 2024, Frost Giant was basically down to their
Oh, okay. I actually read this wrong. I saw it in reverse. 2024, they're down $6 million, almost $7 million. Oh, I thought it was the opposite, not from 2023 to 2024, 24 to 2023. Okay, that makes more sense. I see. That's rough. That is a lot of cash burned. But I heard it was even more than that, right? They were burning like more than $20 million per year.
Last penny, with only $25,000 remaining in their war chest.
Gosh.
They somehow managed to get additional investments from Bitcraft Ventures, which is how they managed to survive the
That's insane that any company was willing to come in to invest at this point. Bitcraft?
first half of 2025, but with funds running out, they were forced to release what
That's
they
a
had.
wild
After
gamble.
the launch, Morton admitted that sales and concurrency were below expectations. He said he was looking for a publisher to partner with and hinted at possible layoffs, and then followed up with several more posts where he spoke of Stormgate in the past tense.
Why do games fail in the market? At the most basic level, it's because they're not good enough. True. There you go. Part of my job is to make sure Frost Giants games are good enough, so I'm putting a lot of thought into how I missed. Notably, I believe the bar for good enough has changed in recent years. Okay, here comes the cope. To an extent that I think many of us have not come to terms with yet. Good games are failing today, irrespective of whether you like Stormgate. There are a meaningful number of well-executed and well-reviewed games that are not achieving commercial success. That's cope, bro. That is such cope. There are so many good games out there right now, and there's games that are like, it's easier now than ever to get discovered as like an indie game and do really well. Think about all the great games that have come out recently that have like no marketing budget at all. Like the Mega Bonks out there. Bolatro, Ball Pit, these type of games. Like these games are coming out right now. Schedule 1, right? Like they don't have a huge marketing budget, and guess what? They didn't pay $600,000 for a cinematic either, okay? And they're achieving massive commercial success. Stormgate is a bad game. You had tons of eyes, all right? You had tons of eyes on this. Lots of people wanted to watch it. 28,000 people put money into this game, and you've got like less than 50 people playing it.
Bitcraft and other investors may have kept Frost Giant alive longer than expected, but the fundamental problem never changed.
What do you think? Okay, this is the same thing we saw before. I have not received my paycheck in a very long time. Oh no. Poor Tim Morton didn't receive his paycheck in a very long time. I don't feel bad for this guy at all. I feel bad for the 28,000 people again. The 28,000 backers on Kickstarter. They're the ones that really deserve my pity.
They burned goodwill, burned money, and failed to deliver the
for the
product
whole
they
industry.
Stormgate was supposed to be the RTS revival. Instead, it's a case study in how not to spend $40 million. They promised next-gen RTS, funded until release, and the first social RTS. They delivered a half-baked campaign, missing features, sock puppet reviews, and financial filings warning of collapse instead. So, was it all just a scam? No, I don't think Tim Morton set out to defraud investors or milk the community. He had a grandiose vision and either underestimated the work or assumed more funding would arrive. Instead of building a standout campaign with real lore and using that to fund the rest.
This is one thing I talked about too, is like, the lore in Stormgate is so undercooked, it doesn't make any sense. You've got like chickens and stuff as your like minion camps, you know what I mean? That's what they had at the beginning anyway. But like they didn't have that just shows that they didn't really have an idea of what they wanted, you know what I mean? They didn't have an idea of what the lore was actually going to be. What's the story of Stormgate, right? And I felt like they kind of like made the units. They built the units kind of around StarCraft, right? Like they knew that they had to have like an artillery unit. You know, they needed to have like an early game melee unit. They needed to have an early game, you know, like marine-like unit, right? and they took these different pieces and they were like, okay, let's build a character out of each of these. Let's build a unit out of each of these. And then they just kind of like, you know, around a theme. And then they just tried to like build the lore out of that. You know what I mean? Like the lore came from the units. It wasn't the other way around where there was like this lore, this universe, and then they like pulled the units out of it. They like reversed the process, I feel, and came out with just a shit product. Like it didn't make any sense. Like none of it felt like it had any sort of a world behind it. Yeah, the setting wasn't compelling, the story wasn't compelling, everything was like a cartoon that just didn't have anything behind it. It was really weird, honestly. Like I when you say like what went wrong with Stormgate, it's got to be like 24 different things at least. Like the list is very long. Like what went right with Stormgate? That would be a better list. Like we're not going to learn much from looking at all the failures because there's so many.
They built thin versions of everything at once. 1v1, campaign, co-op, 3v3, and none of it impressed. The game that was meant to
I don't
save
even know
and
what's
revive...
like what would be like a good equivalency for Stormgate. I'm trying to think of something that had such a massive scope. Exactly. Yes. That's a really good comment. They had no creative vision, just made an RTS because they saw an opening in the market. Yes, that's exactly how I feel. Plants vs. Zombies would make a great RTS. I think anything would make a better RTS than this.
RTS has become its own cautionary tale.
It's so bad, man. It's so bad.
That really reminds me of when I first sent the like when the third race came out. I don't even remember what it's called, like Ascended or something like that. They had the third race in Stormgate, and they had that first like tournament that they put together, and they had 2 players fighting in the tournament, and it was so bad. Like the mirror matchup was so bad. It was so boring, and like it didn't make any sense. We were watching it. It was like, what am I even looking at? This is terrible. Like your Nexus can fly, and like the 2 players, like they built their Nexus and then they just like flew their Nexuses together and started attacking each other. It was so stupid. Oh my gosh, it was the dumbest thing you've ever seen in your life. And I sent that to Love Snow, and he cried on stream because he felt so bad for all the people who backed the game on Kickstarter and who are so excited for the game. It was really savage, but I think this is a great video, guys. I'll link you guys the video in the chat. Go check it out. This guy has like 100 subscribers, and he did a really good video here. So definitely go check it out. Go give him some love. I'm gonna subscribe to him right now. I think he did the best video. I watched a whole bunch of videos about Stormgate, you know, from all these different creators who were, you know, who have a lot of subscribers and stuff and got a lot of views. This is the best video on Stormgate. He really covered everything well. So yeah, go give him some love, guys.